So I have quite a few 15-inch MacBook Pro Retina display models with the anti-reflective glare coating. There was a Apple quality program, and I think it was, I think it ended in 2015, or like a year after your AppleCare warranty expired, they were covering this. So I have a number of them, and these displays are quite expensive to replace, with them being Retina. I think even cost to like an Apple service provider is over $400, with a trade-in of the old display towards the new one. So I did a little bit of research, and I was just thinking about it, like, it's just a reflective coating. There's got to be a way to possibly remove that. It's coming off on its own. So this is one that I've worked on a little bit. It's really hard to get a good angle of what's going on, but what you see here, the splotchy areas, that's what's left of the coating. I've actually removed a good majority of it. You can see a little bit of speckly area here. I'm gonna get a better angle on it. It's very, as you can see, it's very reflective without that coating on there. But I've read quite a bit, and some people use Listerine. Some people have said, Clorox wipes. I'm having a difficult time. It's not coming off very easily. It seems to come off along the edges a lot easier, so I started at the bottom, kind of worked my way up. The Listerine gets really sticky on your hands, and you have to keep putting quite a bit on there. And then when you're done, there's like a film that you have to clean off, and it took like several rounds of like isopropyl alcohol. I'm using 91% from our local grocery store. Probably 99% would be a little bit better. The Clorox wipes did work, but everything I read, it wasn't as easy as everybody made it out to be. So I'm going to look for some other options, because I have probably 2 or 3 more of these I need to do this work on. I completed one last night, and it turned out pretty well. It was difficult to get it clean finally, but it's a relatively inexpensive solution to an expensive fix, if you want to do it that way. Now you will have to deal with the reflection. When the devices are on, it's not going to be as reflective, but you could still do true color matching without this on there, and it makes the machine fully usable. So that's what I've been working on last night and this morning as well. So I'll put another photo up when I'm completed with this one. I've been working on it for probably another hour here, off and on, and it looks a little better than it did. I got most of the bottom area done. Can't really see anything there. There's a little speckle. Can't even see it on the screen here, but there's a little speckle here. I'll get that. This seems to be on there pretty good. I might try to go get some acetone and some 99% isopropyl alcohol, because it is not really coming off, and I need something to eat that up. But yeah, it's definitely better than it was in the previous clip, but still some work to do. This is on a 2015 15-inch MacBook Pro Retina display. All right, here's another one. This is a late 2013 model. Got the classic anti-reflective issue. This one you can kind of see the outline of the keyboard here. It's really hard to get this on camera, but on the left side here you can see some marks there, some more at the top there, pretty much all the outline all around it, and then really heavy presence in the middle. And what this is there's a anti-reflective coating that Apple put on these screens that had some issues, and I did a little bit more research today, and it looks like there was they call it a quality program that was good for, I believe, 3 years from purchase, and then they bumped it to 4. So it'd be based on the purchase date in Apple's GSX system. And obviously late 2013 is going on 6, almost 7 years. Not going to be covered. And I mean, it could have been purchased in 14 even, and it wouldn't be covered. So a lot of different ideas out there on Google and YouTube even as to what to use to take this coating off. And I had several of these machines that I had purchased intending to get the quality program to cover this, but that's not going to happen, and the replacement screens are about $400 cost, even to an Apple service provider. So I had a 2015 that I spent about 3 hours on today, and I have a little, I can show it to you. I have a little section on that one that I just cannot remove. You can see that. I've been scrubbing that. The rest of it is in really good looking condition, but I have this part across the top here that I tried Listerine, I tried Clorox wipes, I tried isopropyl alcohol, I tried some 3M adhesive remover. I tried this LA's Totally Awesome, which is supposed to be a really good one, and that's as good as I can get it. So I'm gonna have to spend some more time on that. I may try acetone. That's a pretty intense product, and from what I've read, you have to be real careful around the edges because it'll soak back in and kind of eat up this rubber gasket. But at this point, I got a 2015 top spec 15-inch Retina display model that nobody's going to really want with the screen looking like that. So I'm gonna try a couple more things. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna give this one a go. I found that the older models, like I had another late 2013 that I completed, and that one turned out really nicely. It took me about an hour to do. See how clean that is? I did that one last night, and it came out really well. Of course, using the Listerine after you're done, there's a pretty good film. So I've been using this apple juice or apple scented juice cleaner. You could use any screen cleaner, but I really like this one. It's been really good for taking the film off. And then I'll do isopropyl alcohol, and I'm using these blue shop towels. They seem to be fairly lint free. And then a microfiber cloth to apply the Listerine. That works pretty well. So so there's the before. Kind of hard to see. Now I got it all smudged up. See what the Listerine does? It leaves like a film behind. So this is kind of the before, and I'll take a couple more videos here throughout the process. I'm actually dumping a little bit on here. I wanted to get into that gasket, but I found the edges are actually fairly easy to see how it's already. I've got it firm against my legs, so I don't want to crack anything or cause any LED issues. I'm going to put the camera down and I'll show another video in a few minutes. You can see got a pretty good patch going down the middle here. I'm going to get a shop towel and some rubbing alcohol. We can see I got a pretty good section going there. Comes off on these older ones, it comes off pretty well, and that's the section where I was really struggling with the 2015. So a little bit higher up, and sometimes I'll just dump a little bit of Listerine right on the cloth. I found if you work from the top edge of where the film's off, just kind of work your way up, it seems to work better. I think the Listerine gets underneath the coating, so it's not, I mean, it's a time-consuming process, and you have to really use some elbow grease, but beats spending $600 on a replacement display when the machines are only worth, you know, $600 to $800 on a, you know, 2015. You could probably spend upwards of $700 to $800 for a 16 gigs of memory, you know, 512 gig solid state, and upgraded processor. I think 2.5 or 2.7 on the 2015 models. This one's a 2013, late 2013, with a 2.3 gigahertz i7, 16 gigs of memory. This just has the Iris Pro single graphics processor, which is kind of a base model when it comes to that, but it also has a 512 gig solid state drive, and battery has got a cycle count of 423, so that's not too bad. I would say anything over 600 is probably about time to replace the battery. But it's overall a clean machine. It just had that kind of keyboard where the keyboard would press against the display when it's shut, probably in a bag. Although I have heard of some people that have just left them sitting on a desk, and I don't know if it's UV rays or what that break down this coating, but so on this section I started at the top, and you can see that I didn't do a whole lot of work on that yet, and it's coming off pretty good. So edges seem to do pretty good, and then I just work my way down to the next opening. If you can see that now, I made a gap there. So I'm making some progress, not a real fast process, but and that 2015 is really frustrating because I scrubbed and scrubbed like this for, feels like hours now, and I haven't really made a whole lot of progress. Whereas on this one, I actually see that gap's widened more. Work on this side here. Sometimes you got to work these edges a little bit because it kind of catches on that rubber gasket. Seems like it's getting a little bit more difficult. I don't know if somebody could come up with like a process where you could take these displays off and mail them in and have this done. It might be worth a little bit of money to spend. Time is money, right? It does end up being pretty glossy when it's done, but most people wouldn't have an issue with that, to have a fully working display. Doesn't really degrade the quality at all. It's just if you were in a really bright room or had a light behind you, it would probably be fairly annoying just to have, like, you can see my other display in there. All right, I'm gonna do some more work and I'll be back. It's not very pretty, but this is just film from the Listerine. But if you look at the bottom, this is all that's left. The top's actually pretty clean. It's just, I need to clean it up a few more passes. There's a little line there, little bit there, but the big splotch down there. And this is probably about 10 straight minutes of scrubbing, reapplying Listerine. So we're looking a lot better. This will clean up really good. It's got a film on there. So if you use rubbing alcohol, any kind of screen cleaner, you have to get fresh cloths here and there. But this one is definitely going a lot easier than the 2015. I don't know what's going on with that one. Maybe they used a different film at some point that still had issues but was a little bit more durable, or maybe just due to age on some of these, like the 2013s being a couple years older, you know, that material breaks down a little bit over the time. But probably another 10 minutes and I should have this one wrapped up. All right, you can see here, this is what I have left. And this portion is going a lot easier. Just grab some Listerine here. And at this point, I'm just dumping some on a cloth. And then starting at the, it's really hard to do this on the camera too, but just starting at the top here. You can see it's coming off really well. I don't see any more. I think I might have got it all. I'll do like a once over and then I'm going to do some other cleaning on it with isopropyl and some screen cleaner after I get that film off. But you can see that's looking pretty darn clean, other than the smears. Like, you can't see any of the coating peeling. So I'll do a cleanup on it and then I'll be back to show you. I don't usually recommend spraying Windex directly on the machine, but that's usually because of the coating that's on the displays. And a lot of computers have them, unless it's a truly glass display. Like an iMac or something, they have outer glass. But with those, you got to be careful not to let the Windex overspray, get down. If you overspray, it'll kind of come into this, joint here. The older ones had a, aluminum all the way around the side, and it would get back in there, and it could get down in and, cause corrosion here and there. But now that the coating's gone, you can clean it with whatever you want to. I just wouldn't go crazy to where it gets down in your keyboard and down into this, bezel cover. You could have some issues. But you can see here, this thing is nice. Let me get a background. It's not, got too many things in this room to where you can't see very well. But you can see that's a spick and span after a couple of cleanings with Windex and isopropyl alcohol, and then I use the Juce cleaner. So this method works. The Listerine on this one worked extremely well. I don't know what the deal is with the 2015, but $5 bottle of Listerine will fix you up. Thanks for watching. Well, the 2015 didn't exactly go as planned. Still got a bunch of anti-reflective on there, but when I was cleaning it up, it powered on, and apparently I pressed too hard when I was cleaning it, and I've now got a broken display. So, word of caution. I did do 2 others successfully without an issue. They, maybe 30 minutes to an hour of lightly scrubbing with Listerine, and the coating came off. This one, I don't know what the deal was. And it's not even like the area where the coating is, unless it was up towards here, and I don't know, maybe I broke it here and it splintered all the way across. But the hard part was up here, and that part's not broken. So it must have happened earlier in the process when I was cleaning down along the edges. So I don't know what I'll do with this one. I got to look at compatibility with other models, because obviously the 2015 is more valuable than the 2012 or 2013, and I have plenty of those. So I'll have to look and see if these displays, are interchangeable, because I certainly don't want to spend $400. Maybe I could find a cheaper one on eBay that's in good shape. So yeah, that's disappointing. Didn't really anticipate that being an issue. I may still get some acetone and try to get that reflective coating off, because I just want to know on these newer ones if it's possible. Maybe you don't have to scrub as hard with acetone. But anyways, that's the end of this chapter for now. It's too bad Apple doesn't stand behind that quality program for a little bit longer on these things. It's surely something that was an issue. Maybe someone needs to start another class action. I don't know. It's frustrating.